Hey, my name is Joe Vasquez, and this is.
Eddie DeAngelini.
Hey, how's it going? So we're here to talk a little bit about getting our Kickstarters funded. I think that's the biggest topic in the room that people always ask questions about in Indie Comics Rock is always questions about funding and stuff. So here we are, giving them the info.
Happy to do it.
Tell me a little bit about your comics. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, my comic is a comic strip called Collectors, and it's been running for a bit over 10 years now. Online, started as a web comic, still is a web comic, but in the process of doing it, I've put together soon to be 7 annual volumes in print of the comic strip and original material as well. And the 7th book just funded on Kickstarter and will be available soon.
That's amazing. So who does the art?
Me. I do everything. I write it, I draw it, letter it, color it, publish it.
It's like a one-man show, huh?
Exactly.
Oh, right on. Eddie's Run. That's that. I love that old movie, Logan's Run. So so let's see. You do all the art. What kind of software are you using when you draw? Is it all hand scanned in? How are you doing it?
I write or I pencil and ink it all by hand. From that point, it gets scanned in. The colors are done in Photoshop. The lettering is done in Illustrator. But
Okay.
to this day, I still.
Do you hand letter? Or you actually? So this is a big issue in the industry.
No, and I don't think there's anybody. I don't know anyone who hand letters to this day.
I mean, I don't hand letter. I'm putting a font in, live with it. I get a lot of flack over that. So
I don't see why. I mean, doing the lettering digitally, obviously, it allows you to be able to do more. Allows you to be able to do it quicker. And what I try to stress with people when it comes to lettering, not to get on too much of a tangent here, but lettering is just as important as the art and the writing. It's kind of like the third element in your comic that's kind of like the silent element, because bad lettering will ruin a good comic any day. But
so what's something that you would consider to be bad lettering? Is it just like if I did it by hand, it would be bad? I'll acknowledge that. But
well, I mean bad lettering in the sense that your balloon placement is poorly placed. Your balloon, actual shape of your balloons are done with very little thought. Your letting and your kerning, which if you're into lettering, you should know what letting and kerning is not well thought out. The actual placement of your words within the balloon are not done well enough, to the point where they are just butting up against the balloon in some parts and you're leaving way too much space in another. Things like that, which distract away from your comic. When lettering is done well, it blends in with the page and your layout very well, perfectly, to where you don't even notice it, and lettering also can be like a third part. It could be an extra character, kind of a background character in a sense of your comic, because it can evoke certain emotions just by how you letter, and how you shape and place your word balloons. You can emphasize certain words, certain phrases. If a character is yelling, if a character is upset, a lot of that can be put in the lettering to emote what the characters are feeling. So when it's done well, it can do all that. When it's done badly, it distracts away from everything else.
Yeah, I've seen a few like where people use their word balloons, like someone says something that's really like kind of shady or chilled and put ice on it or fire on it,
Yeah.
So
yeah. Like a quick little thing that I do a lot of times is if someone is yelling, obviously I will make those actual word or words bigger and bold, but then sometimes the balloon around them will have a much thicker line to it, almost to the point. And in some parts, the words, especially if you're yelling somebody's name really loud, the words almost kind of like come out of the word balloon in a sense. Like it's just the yelling of the word is so much bigger and more powerful than even the balloon that it's bursting out. Things like that can really emote what the character is going through.
So let's talk a little bit about your writing process. Is it just
Yeah.
kind of a sit down and write, or do you research? What gets a story written for you?
Well, because mine is a comic strip that is more similar to what you read and see in the Sunday Funnies.
Hmm.
It's very much just kind of like a one and done joke, all my strips. So there's not really a lot of research going into it. There is some thought process as far as how to write the comedy of the comic strip, but the comic strip is loosely based on myself and my wife and my comic book collecting and all the nerdy stuff she goes through living with me. So the research is just the life we live, really. It kind of really just things happen in our own life and I think, oh my God, I can make something funny out of that, or I can make a fun joke out of that. So that's really the kind of research that goes into it. There's no studying and looking up, ancient history or things like that. Like I'm not writing something like that.
So
So
it's a slice of life, basically, right?
yeah, although I'm not really fond of the term slice of life.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I call it it's a humor comic strip. It's a
Humor.
comedy comic strip. Slice of life invokes something more kind of like I don't know, something more like say American Splendor by Harvey Pekar, where it's like just stories of his just everyday goings on that sometimes just rambles and doesn't go anywhere. And that's not a slight in any way against Harvey Pekar, because I love the guy and I love his work, but that's
Yeah,
not
fair enough.
quite what I do. Yeah, so it's just very much the writing process for me is really, is this a good punchline? Is this a good joke? Is it strong enough? Or do I need to rework it? Or is the joke really after this part? Sometimes when you think you have a gag, a punchline in that last panel, sometimes that's not really the punchline. Sometimes there's something afterward. There's something somebody says or does after that that is the real punchline. So sometimes that's where the writing comes in for me, as far as really kind of grinding down and trying to figure out what it is I'm trying to do or say with the joke.
I'm one of those more like I do the real serious sci-fi stuff, and man, I have no idea if I did a joke. Sometimes somebody will tell me later that was funny, and okay. So I stumble across my jokes at best, but yeah, I don't. I writing comedy, writing something that makes people laugh. That's rough, man. That's good for you. I can't do that, but that's awesome.
People don't really get it, and I learned the hard way. Comedy is really hard to write. It is really tough, especially to do it in just a short, small bit of space. It
So
is tough, and
yeah. So
sometimes I think
go ahead.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
know, I don't think I can come up with any more jokes. I've got nothing, and then I come up with another one. So
So tell me a little bit about marketing. Like you just successfully funded a Kickstarter recently, right?
yes, it just ended about a
And
week ago.
yeah, I wish I could have got you on right before that, but yeah. So tell me a little bit about what do you do to get your when you're starting up your Kickstarter? Are you focused on pre-saves? Do you do any kind of advertising? What do you do to get it running and get it started?
Well, I've not done any actual paid advertising for my Kickstarters. I guess I've just been lucky that when I started my comic strip about 10 and a half years ago, that was before all this talk about algorithms and social media started. So I got in before that, and I was able to actually build up a fan base pretty quickly, because my work was actually getting out there and people were seeing it. It wasn't until, you know, later on that algorithms kicked in and it really kind of blocks people from seeing your stuff, and you really got to work harder to get it out there. So I was able to build up a fan base relatively quickly, and I started right away with trying to get people signed up to my email newsletter. I had no clue what I was going to do with it or how to really use it, but I just thought I need to collect emails. I need to collect names, because I can always outreach people directly that way. So, in the course of the 10-ish years that I've been doing the strip, I've built an email newsletter uh, list of about 5,000, over 5,000 people. So
Wow,
it
that's a
makes
big
it,
one.
yeah, thank you. I mean, that's 10 years worth of work. You know, it's not overnight. So it makes it really easy when I'm starting a Kickstarter and I've got that pre-page up for people to go and like, it's real easy to me to start blasting out to my email newsletter, also my social media, but more success comes with the newsletter. I can blast that out to my email list, and I will get those likes pretty quickly. And same thing when I'm in the course of the Kickstarter, when I'm promoting it, I'm putting a lot of effort more so into that email list, because if I send out, the rule basically in marketing is that you've got to tell people something 7 times before they actually act on it. So I am continuously bombarding the people on my email list over and over. And, is it annoying? Maybe it is, but really, how many times is someone actually seeing all of those emails? Because like I said, maybe the first 3 or 4 went right by them, but then they see like the 5th or the 6th and they click on it and they act on it. So that has been just a really good way for me to market out.
I mean, that's important, that, because a lot of these young guys out there, and including myself, like, I don't want to be annoying, but you gotta be in front of people to get seen, or you're not gonna get seen if you're not in front of people. And the internet. Go ahead.
I tell people, if you feel that way, get over it. Yeah. Have no shame.
Well, and you look on the internet, the way a Facebook group works. I'm the admin on Indie Comics Rocks right now, and like the way that works is, just because I put up a post doesn't mean everybody in that group saw that post. It tells me what percentage of people see the post or how many people see it. And it's like, if you posted 7 or 8 times, you still wouldn't get in front of every single one. So it's okay to go up there, especially in social media, and repost and post, not in the same day. As the admin, do not do it in the same day, but one a day is fine, guys.
Right. But here's what I'll say too. If it's your own page, like obviously for my comic strip, I've got an actual page for it. And then I have my personal account. When I'm running a Kickstarter, I'll post on both pages every day, sometimes maybe a couple times a day, every single day. And with my email newsletter list, I will send out an email 3, 4, 5 times in a week. And
so when you're sending these out, are they the same ad or are they modified each time?
No, that's important. That if you're doing what I'm doing, where you're posting every day and sending out emails like every other day, it's important that you do not send out the same message every time, because they've already seen that. And let's say, for those 7 times someone has to see something before they act on it. Make sure that each time they see it, it's a different message, because one of those messages is going to resonate with them, and they're going to say, "Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, that's kind of neat. Oh, I'm going to go check it out now." You always want to have
when
a
I was first starting to use social media, right? And I'm an artist, right? So I draw a picture and I'll sketch it out, and then I'll throw the picture up, and then I'll sketch it out and I'll put up with the inks, and I'll sketch it out and I'll put up with the inks, and then I'll put the color on. And my friends would tell me, it's like, yeah, you posted the same picture 9 times. And I was like, well, I guess I did technically, but so yeah, from when you're scrolling through social media, they don't notice the subtlety. So make sure it's different. Make sure it looks different.
Exactly.
Different message.
Yeah. But also what I was going to say earlier was, if it's your own page and you're posting over and over every day and someone finds it annoying, well, you know what? Too bad. It's my page. I'll post what I want when I want, as much as I want. It's my page. I'm not going onto your page and doing it. It's my page. So when I tell people, don't worry that you're bothering people. It's your page. Post as much as you want and anything you want. So don't worry about that. But as far as having a different message, absolutely. I mean, you can focus. I try to plan out each week beforehand. What are my messages going to be this week? And are they different from the previous? I will have a message where I focus on the actual book itself. Hey, it's the new book. It's this many pages. You're going to get this kind of stuff in the book, and it's going to feature this. A next day will be, when you back, you can choose different rewards that include this type of item, and focus on the rewards. And another,
it sounds like you like to build a lot of value into your message.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And another time, like when I was doing my my trade paperback, which was previous year, which the first 3 books were completely sold out. So I put them together in a trade paperback. Well, I had a good friend of mine who works for IDW do a variant cover of the book. So one of my messages one day was, hey, it's available also with this variant cover by this artist. And I did like a little profile on him, you know, and told a little bit about him and his career. So every day was a different message, a uniquely different message.
That's awesome. So sounds like, you know, you've been doing this for a little while. What's your next project?
Oh gosh, my next project. You know what? I just funded the Kickstarter, and for the 7th print annual, it's going to be coming out real soon here. As soon as the funds hit my account, the files are off to the printer. And my next project is I'm going to take a breather for a little bit and wait for the books to come in. Just take it easy for a bit. Just get back onto the grind of doing my regular schedule for my comics.
Yeah, where can we buy your stuff right now if we wanted to buy it off of Kickstarter? Are we able to do that?
You can go to my website. You can go to collectorscomic.com. Like I said, the Kickstarter for the 7th annual is the one that just ended. But if you want to get any of the previous books, or even if you just want to go on there and check out my comic strip and read some of the more recent archives, you can jump on there and read some of the recent archives for free. If you like it, you can then just click over to the online shop and look at the books that I have and pick up 1 or 2. And
yeah,
there
so
it is right there.
collectorscomic.com. Yep.
Yeah.
And again, I love the style of the art. It has a good feel to it. Colors are good. It's really, I mean, I'm always more focused on the art than I am in the stories and stuff, but like this has a good feel to it, man.
Thanks. I grew up reading and loving the Sunday funnies in the newspaper, besides obviously being a huge comic book fan all around. And I just wanted to do something in that vein. So that's very much what the look and the feel of the art is supposed to be like.
All right. So thank you so much, Eddie. It was really good talking to you. I kind of chit-chatted with you once or twice through posts and stuff, but this was a good conversation. So
yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you. And hopefully we can maybe see each other face to face at upcoming convention.
Hey, that'd be great. I don't get out much though. I'm a homebody.
I kind of am as well, but I make the exception for cons. I enjoy going.
All right. So maybe I will. Maybe you'll talk me into it. All right. Thank you for checking us out. You can I'll put the links down below for you, and then you can always check me out at the 23rd Archive, 23rdarchive.com. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.